Hey folks, welcome to PlayBranson, the show where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. I'm your host, Chris Meyer, and today's episode is brought to you by iBranson.com. It's the place where you can find the latest Branson show schedules and attraction information. So be sure to check out iBranson.com. Our guest today is George Geisser with George Jones, Haggard and Friends, and he is at the Little Opry Theater over at the Branson IMAX Complex. It's his first time on the show, got a great history. Look forward to talking to him more. You're going to want to stay tuned. We'll be right back with George Geisser here on PlayBranson. You may be sitting in your hotel room tonight saying, who is playing where tonight in Branson? Well, guess what? If you go to thevacationchannel.com, you can see Branson show and attraction schedules. Just click on the schedule button in the top right corner and you'll see who's playing tonight in Branson. Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson. On today's show, for the first time ever, I have George Geisser with George Jones, Haggard and Friends.
That's right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So we like to talk about your show, but we always go back first and we talk about how did you get into this business? And you have an incredible history and background. So take us way, way back and talk to us about how you got into this business.
Okay, I'm from about 20 miles south of Boston. And my folks, Boston in the 60s was a hub of folk music, and Dylan and Baez and whatnot, college scene, and mostly the Club 47. There was a couple other clubs. And my folks were involved because they were older than Dylan and Baez, but younger than their parents. So my folks were cool because they knew all the old songs from the old country. And I grew up I guess we were so poor we had nothing to do but music on the weekends. So there was always music at our house. We had Al Wilson, the Canned Heat. We had lots of people over the house before they were famous, of course. And they just lay music instruments out. And so it turns out I had a proclivity, is that the word, for picking up instruments and playing with them. So I played about 8 instruments by the time I was 7.
8 instruments. Yeah. Let's talk about that's 8 instruments by 7. So that's a lot.
Well, and stringed instruments are basically the same. So it's you move your finger once, the note goes up. So it's not like brain surgery. But so my folks incorporated, because I was so young, me into the show. And we played Newport Folk Festival, which was a big deal. We sat around with Cash and Dylan, Baez, the Rolling Stones, pretty much Muddy Waters, everybody. It was back then. It was all genres of music were pretty much all together, and then they found their individual fingers after that. We got more specific, and my folks got out of the business. Really, I had no choice to get out. But by the time I graduated high school, I had a rock band in high school. And it was my way of expressing myself. Anyway, next thing I know, I was on the way out of Massachusetts, and wound up in Denver, where I joined a country music show, and I toured the country for a year in 1978. And right out of the gate, 2 weeks later, warming up for Conway Twitty, Mel Tillis, a lot of the big acts, and then. I ended up close calls in cars, went off to Bible college in Dallas, spent 6 years. I crammed 4 years of college into 6 years. Not everybody can do that. And everybody I knew, Cheeside Childs, come up to Branson, put this town on the map. Most people don't give her the credit she deserves. And so I followed the Texans, was the Masters 4, Shoji Tabuchi, a bunch of those folks from the Grapevine Opry in Texas, up here as soon as I graduated, and been here since '85. Yeah. So that's the long and the short of it.
Well, let's go back a little ways, because it says here that you were in a group that was Speedy Hawthorne.
Yeah, Speedy Hallworth.
Hallworth, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No. Of the Ozark Country Jubilee. Red Foliage Jubilee actually was bigger than Nashville was, but the story I heard was there's folks in Springfield, being the Bible Belt and the capital of the Bible Belt, they didn't like the hillbilly aspect they didn't want to be thought of as hillbillies. So they after Red Foley had some issues, they lost it to Nashville. Well, Nashville was always probably the recording center, but they had Red Foley had the #1 TV show forever, and anybody that was anybody got their start there. Dolly and Porter, and names I can't remember because there was no country music stations on the East Coast.
But anyway, you worked with him.
Yep.
And then when you went to Dallas, you went there. What was there something that led you? Was it the college, or what happened that you were like, okay, I've been in the music business, now I'm going to college?
And so I wound up almost I wound up in an almost fatal accident in Nashville, and I'd had enough of the road after a year, so I quit. And in that time, because of that incident, I just prayed. I said, God, if this is real, somebody's watching out for me. And I said, just put people in my life that'll talk to me. And I had a sign, must have said, talk to me, because I couldn't turn without somebody witnessing. And so so next thing, out of Baton Rouge, I wound up at Dallas Christian College. And the Texans, the Masters 4, Terry Laird, they lost the fiddle player to Tommy Overstreet, who was real big in the 80s. And so I got the job at the Grapevine Opry working for Cheesai, who would eventually wind up here.
Right. And Cheesai then also helped bring Shoji to Branson.
Yep.
And so, yeah, she did a lot way back in the day. And so you come up here. What happens when you come to Branson?
Well, I starred my first winter. I was involved in the first winter show. They tried to keep the town open. It used to be they rolled up the sidewalks in October. Halloween, it was done for 6 months, and all the shows went out on the road. So I ended up at the Jubilee, Ozark Country Jubilee, named after the bunch in Springfield, but they just used the name. And the show lasted maybe 3 months, and we were all unemployed. And the next thing I know, I was cleaning chimneys for a living, and cleaned a chimney for the sign painter at Silver Dollar City. And he said, oh, Horse Creek's needing a fiddle player. So I auditioned for Silver Dollar City, worked there 6 years. And then my favorite boss of all, John Davidson, came to Branson. Okay. And I did 2 shows with him. And after he left, wound up at Shoji's for 10 years. It seems like I couldn't keep a job.
What did you do at Shoji's?
Second fiddle, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, yeah. And tuned his fiddles and a bunch of other stuff, yeah.
Well, but I think in the music industry, there's always change.
Yep.
You know, and so you were at Shoji's for 10 years, and then what happened?
Let's see. I ended up at the White House Theater with the Mag 7 show, and then when that show, it was 6 nights a week, and my wife said, it'd be really nice if you do something around the house. You're only working 3 hours a day, 6 days. And I said, I'd rather do anything. Well, I'd go drive a school bus. So I've been driving for Branson for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And then, the White House quit. They sold the place. And then for 2 years, I didn't do anything. And then let's say, gosh, this is going back a ways. When I wasn't trying to work, I started getting calls. I'm a utility player. So I told you I played 8 instruments by the time I was 7. Well, I stick to the instruments that nobody else plays. I used to say I'm the spice guy because any amount of clove will ruin it don't take much, or nutmeg, so less is best. So fiddle, steel, harmonica, the instruments that just give a little flavor. So I ended up doing that. The Bacons, oh gosh, and Delina, worked for her off and on. And then Patsy Cline show, C.J. Newsom's at the Americana. Her show, she started at the IMAX, and I helped them. I was Patsy Cline show at the IMAX, where she got her start, C.J. Newsom, and they hired me as a utility guy, and I helped put the band together. She went a year there before she moved on, which opened up the spot for us. George Jones passed in that time that I was with CJ, and she announced in the audience on the stairs, she said, just come over the wire that George Jones has passed. Anybody in the band know any Jones? And I said, I know every song he's ever done. She let me sing, He Stopped Loving Her Today. And the next thing I know,
now you have your own show.
I'm doing my own show.
Yes, and now you've been doing this since 2014. So you're now on year 11 of doing this show.
Yep.
And so what an incredible history that you start out at a very young age in folk music. Your parents are in the business. They're hanging around these really what we'd call legends, right? And just how you've had this journey, and now you've been here in Branson for really a long time.
Yeah, longer than most people are alive.
Yeah, folks, we're going to stop right here. We'll be back in just a second with more with George Geisser. Have you seen our new PlayBranson magazine? Well, if you're in town and you want to know more about Branson's shows, attractions, golf, the lakes, and more, you need to get the PlayBranson magazine. It's free. It's located all over town in racks, so be sure to pick up a PlayBranson magazine. Going to Branson for some relaxation and fun? You've got to stay with Branson's award-winning hotel family, Meyer Hotels. Meyer Hotels features 4 hotels in Branson with the best locations for your trip. Choose from brands you know and trust, like the Holiday Inn Express on Green Mountain Drive, the Best Western Centerpoint Inn, Comfort Inn at Thousand Hills, and the Comfort Inn and Suites. Enjoy refreshing indoor pools and hot tubs. Do you like free? How about a free hot breakfast each morning? Free vacation planning services, and of course, smiles are always free. Want even more value? Go to MeyerHospitality.com and join our e-club to save 15% off your next stay and check out incredible deals with our vacation packages. Call 1-877-FUN-STAY to book Branson's award-winning hotels or visit MeyerHospitality.com. It's your safe choice for award-winning lodging in Branson. MeyerHospitality.com. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're here with George Geisser, who has a show at the Little Opry Theater over at the IMAX complex called George Jones, Haggard and Friends. And now you've been doing that for 11 years.
11th season right now.
Yeah. And so let's just say they don't know anything about this show. Tell people what are they going to get? What can they expect?
You will get the old country music. So George Jones passed away, and I started with George, my favorite singer. Him and Haggard, little did we know we'd lose Haggard a year or so later, who died on his birthday, by the way. Said he would. And my favorite other singer. So it ended up being George Jones, Haggard, and Friends, because we stick to the old country. Charlie Pride, Willie and Wailing, Johnny Cash, and I've got an incredible gal singer. She's my Tammy when I'm George, my June when I'm Johnny. You get it. And then two brothers, the Herzog brothers, phenomenal musicians. They play every instrument in the world, utility players like myself. And so we swap around in 4-part harmony. They're strong vocalists, so you don't have to listen to me for the 90 minutes. But so we cover the old country music. We even take requests if we know them. We try not to butcher anything too much, but that's one thing that makes us different. As if it's old and country, the standards, we'll sure do it.
Yeah, so that could mean the show might be different.
Yes.
Every time you go, if you take requests from the audience, because I think there's maybe only one other show I know of in town that actually does that.
Sons of Britches at the IMAX.
Yes.
And they actually look up the words to the songs. So my guys always say, if you want to see it done right, come back and see the Sons of Britches. Yeah. I fake it. I'll make up words if I have to, because I can't see the teleprompter if we had one.
Yeah.
These old eyes.
Yeah. So your show is 3 days a week, right? So I'm showing Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays.
5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock. And you said it's an hour-and-a-half show, no intermission.
That's right, straight through.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the theater, because I think the theater is unique.
It is. It's wide and short. So it's like my living room growing up, playing music in my living room. So it's very intimate, and we try to, with the requests and whatnot, and banter back and forth. So yeah, it seats about 100, a little over 100, I think.
Yeah. And so the folks that are in the show with you, you mentioned Hillary Carroll. Is she in any other shows in town?
Oh boy, about every show. There's a busy girl. Her and her husband, Josh Carroll, are at the Americana Theater. I'm not sure what all she does, but yeah.
Yeah, and so these are veteran performers that have been in the business.
Yeah, Hillary come to town with the Dixie Stampede if I can get away with saying Dixie. So yeah.
That's what it used to be called, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this show for quite a while now. What have you seen any changes in that 11 years that you've been doing it?
In what regard?
Just whether it's the audience, the type of music people want to hear, anything like that?
No, not really. Historically, people are, I think, leaning towards the old stuff, because even the kids, everybody's heard of Cash. I drive a school bus. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but almost a day, rarely a day goes by where some kid's not walking on the bus with a Cash shirt on, or the Rolling Stones, So I think the kids are looking back to the old stuff. We had the best in the 70s.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to access that variety of music with the internet and Spotify and all this kind of stuff now, where people can really listen to whatever they want.
And once you hit it once, it keeps feeding you until you tell it no.
Yeah. Now, when does your show, when do you start for the season and when do you end? Do you know that?
Yes, we started March the 1st this year, and then we were done about the 15th of December. So that way I don't have to do a Christmas show.
Okay. So you even though you're performing some in November, December, you're still doing the main show.
Yeah, it's always the same.
At that point.
It's always the same but different, right?
Yes.
Because of requests.
Yeah. What instruments do you play on the show?
When the guys are singing, when everybody else, I'm on the fiddle or the harmonica. And then I play guitar when I'm Jones or Haggard. And then my Forrest on the guitar, he's on the mandolin, guitar, can sub in on the bass. Justin, his brother's on bass, can sub in on guitar. But to answer your question, fiddle, guitar, and harmonica.
Harmonica. Okay, I love the harmonica. I just feel like you never can have enough harmonica in a show. It's because it's just one of many instruments, and I love the harmonica.
I'll get you started.
There we go. So you would teach me?
I would.
Okay, y'all heard that on the show. He said he would teach me. We're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, bring me a D harp to the show. I'll give you your first lesson.
Boy, that would be exciting. I'd love to play the harmonica. That would be awesome. So, folks, if you love that old country music, whether it's George Jones, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, this is the show that you want to go see here in Branson. And it's one of the few shows that's really focused on old country. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. Folks, we'll be back in just a second to wrap the show up. Stay tuned. We often provide tips on how to make your Branson vacation better. So have you guys seen the Flavor of Branson magazine? Now, if you're in town and you want to know more about Branson's restaurants, this is the most complete guide for dining. And guess what? It's free. It's located all over town in racks, and it will help save you money. Stretch those vacation dollars even further. There are about 20 coupons in the back. It lists all the restaurants and categories. And so check this out. Be sure to check it out in the lobby of your hotel.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We've been talking to George Geisser with George Jones, Haggard and Friends. You can see that show over at the Little Opry Theater at the Branson IMAX Complex. Be sure to check him out. He does about 3 days a week, 5 o'clock normally. And so you can go to iBranson.com to check that information out. And if you need help planning your entire Branson vacation, you can go to iBranson.com or you can call them at 1-877-ENTERTAIN. They've been serving guests in Branson for 30 plus years, helping people plan their vacation with show tickets, attractions, and lodging. You can get the whole package, so go check them out at iBranson.com. Now, you can find all of our PlayBranson episodes online, lots of different places. You can check us out on Facebook, you can YouTube. We'd ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlayBranson. You can also find our episodes at playbranson.com or thevacationchannel.com. So however you want to watch us, we're there. Go see some live entertainment this week. Support your local musicians. Enjoy the music. That's it for today. We'll see you here next week on Play Branson.